If you've watched any of my other videos, you probably already know about my fear of watercolors. Today, I'll be facing that fear and painting some Frieren fan art in honor of Season 2's release, although I am a little bit late to the party. So these paintings themselves are also a tad bit old now. I made them back in January, and then other things got in the way, so they're coming out now, but yeah, these drawings were done quite, a few months back. But I'll try my best to remember my thoughts and process at the time. So yeah. Like I said, I did two paintings. There'll be two paintings in this video. I'll be doing Frieren and Fern. And Frieren was my first drawing. It was my first painting in this video. And it was a little bit of a fail. So I'm going to rush through it a little bit for Fern, which I think is the much better painting. And therefore the main star of this video. So if you're not the biggest fan of this drawing, stick around. Because I would consider this, I guess, my warm-up or my trial run before, the main piece. So I did not do Frieren justice, but maybe one day I'll tackle it again. So for Frieren, even the sketch looks a little off. It doesn't quite look like her. I think it's the fact that she looks Frieren herself looks quite youthful while still not looking like a child, and I find that balance a little bit difficult to navigate because I obviously don't want to make her look like a child, but she is very youthful looking, and I don't know, a little bit hard to balance. And on top of that, the pose is just very plain and boring, so it's just not the most visually interesting piece, as opposed to Fern, who's in a much more dynamic pose. So this was my first time using watercolors for a portrait, and therefore I am learning and making mistakes through this process, and I carried that on to my next painting, where I've already kind of made the mistakes, so I don't really have to make them again, I'll do Frieren justice one day. The watercolors I used, I believe they're called Gonzai Tombi watercolors. I got them for Christmas. I've used them a bit since I got them. I can't remember if I used them much before this painting, or these two paintings, or if that was my first time really using these watercolors. I think that might have been my first time actually, but since I've made these two paintings, I have actually used them maybe not a decent amount, but I've used them a bit. So I feel a little bit more confident now than I did during this video, but I actually have come to really enjoy watercolors and inks and other water mediums, so I do want to use them more and feel more confident with them. And on top of the watercolors, I also used paint markers for these paintings, which was mostly Artex acrylic markers, as well as I think they're called Karen Deco paint or paint marker brush things, whatever. And also a little bit of Posca pens. Yeah, and specifically for Frieren, I did run out of storage on my phone, so it stopped recording, unfortunately. So you don't actually see much at all of the paint marker section. I do apologize for that, but I did record the entirety of Fern, so that won't be a problem. For the line art, I used a pink micron pen. I wanted some sort of line art, but I didn't really. I kind of wanted a fun, light color, so I used my pink micron pen. And it did not smudge at all with the paints or with the water, which, I guess is to be expected from a brand as good as Micron. I know that they're good, but yeah, still good though. But I do wonder if maybe these paintings would have been better with line art added after, because I wonder if line art kind of makes the drawing a little bit restrictive, especially something like watercolors that is so unpredictable. And I've explained this before, but I think that the art of watercolors is the unpredictability and the way it kind of just does its own thing. You can only control it so much, so maybe line art beforehand then kind of dampens the effects of watercolors. I don't know if that makes any sense to anyone else, but I feel like with line art maybe it becomes more about coloring in lines rather than painting and having it slowly become an image. Does that make sense? This is something that I've kind of been dealing with in all of my mediums, kind of working with this mindset. I'm not sure if that makes sense to anyone else, but so yeah, that's all I really have to say about the drawings, I think, at least for now. So I want to talk a little bit about Frieren and then I guess maybe anime in general and stuff like that. I love Frieren. I don't really watch anime anymore. I used to be a big anime fan growing up, quite young, maybe not quite young, but as maybe a middle schooler, and in my early to mid-teens, and then I guess in my late teens, I kind of fell off, and I'm in my early 20s now, and I don't really watch anime. I haven't for many years now. So I only really watch when I'm watching with someone, but that goes for all things, not just anime. I don't really watch movies or TV shows or anything if I'm not watching it with someone. It's not my favorite pastime. I prefer reading or playing video games. But I have watched a few anime with my boyfriend, and Frieren was one that we watched together. I believe the first season came out last summer, or it had recently finished airing, something like that. Either way, I watched it with my boyfriend last summer, and we both really enjoyed it. And I was very excited for season 2, which was airing, I believe, in January. So, which was why I made these 2 drawings. It was in anticipation of season 2 of Frieren. Of course, that's, it's been finished for a while now. I'm a little bit late, but hopefully it's never too late to talk about Frieren because we all want more. I really like Frieren for a lot of different reasons, but I think one of the main things is that the overall vibes or the aesthetic of Frieren feels a lot like a classic fantasy novel to me. It doesn't feel like anime fantasy. It actually feels like the kind of fantasy that I would read about. You have adventurers going on a quest, you have side quests, there's a lot of exploration and character development. I enjoy the slower paced, more character driven storytelling as well. And Frieren in itself is just a beautiful story of self-discovery, maybe a little bit of grief sprinkled in there as well. And I love the world and I love the characters. I also think that Frieren as a character is very interesting because not only is she overpowered, strong, and badass as hell, but I think her being an elf and having a completely different understanding of time, as well as being completely unfamiliar with human mortality, I feel like that's a really interesting, point in the story. So I really like that. I feel like a lot of the time when we have different creatures in not just anime, I think all media does this, but they end up feeling very humanoid. Like, it kind of just feels like a human, but like you slap some elf ears on them, maybe you put a pair of wings on them, or some fangs, but at their core they think like a human, they act like a human. So I really like when we do have different creatures that they are different from us in some way, and that becomes a big factor of their character. So I really love that I'd say one of the big things with Frieren is that she is immortal, she will live forever, or at least much, much, much longer than any other characters in the show would. So her perception of time is completely different because 1 year for her is barely even a percentage of her life, So her being surrounded by humans who are more in a rush than she is, I don't know, I think that whole dynamic it's really interesting. So yeah, not just Frieren. I've been watching a little bit more other anime lately as well. I have been keeping up with Jujutsu Kaisen. I watched that again with my boyfriend. I don't know, I have some mixed feelings about season 3. I feel like season 3 is definitely the worst in my opinion. I really like season 2 though. Season 2 was great. It was really good. So I was keeping up with both Frieren and Jujutsu Kaisen each week with my boyfriend. He also got me to watch Hell's Paradise with him, so that season 2 of that was also airing at the same time as Jujutsu Kaisen and Frieren. So I did just finish those 3. On top of that, I actually started watching something on my own, which is very rare, very unlike me, because I never watch anything. But I started watching the Apothecary Diaries, and I'm on season 2 somewhere, but I actually haven't watched for a few months now, so I should get back into it. And other than that, I have also started watching Witch Hat Atelier with my boyfriend. And this isn't something I had any prior knowledge of before it started airing, because this just started airing. At the time that I'm recording this, I believe there's 4 episodes out now. And I remember the day before the first episode came out, I was scrolling on Instagram, and I'm really on Instagram, but I happened to be scrolling that day. And all the artists that I follow, they were all making Witch Hat Atelier fan art, and I was like, oh, is there this much excitement over this new anime? When the first episode did come out, I was getting so many edits on TikTok and stuff like that, and everyone was so amazed by the animation, and it was so beautiful, and all the manga readers were going on about how, amazing this anime is going to be, and I was like, what, I'm actually intrigued. For the first time since I was a teenager, I was actually really excited to start an anime, because the way Witch Hat Atelier seems to me is it has the same fantasy feel that I love in Frieren, but I think it might be a touch darker. So I think Frieren is more about the wonder of magic, because obviously we're following Frieren, who loves, to collect spells, and she's teaching Fern how to use magic and stuff like that. While Witch Hat Atelier, we learn quite quickly the consequences of magic, and the whole magic system actually has quite specific rules. And I don't know, I think the whole magic system is really interesting in Witch Hat Atelier. So I'm really excited to keep watching this, and I think when season 1 is done airing, I might actually read the manga. And I haven't read manga in so many years. I actually don't even know how old I was the last time I read a manga, because I mostly read novels now. But I am actually interested, especially since I've seen that the art of the manga is so gorgeous, which makes me want to pick them up and read them. But yeah, this is definitely the anime I'm most excited for at the moment. I will keep watching Witch Hat Atelier, and yeah, it's brought me back to like the same wonder I felt with anime back when I first discovered it as a child. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. So I guess to some other things that I've been doing lately. I haven't posted any videos for a while. I actually haven't posted anywhere on the internet for a while now. I've been very busy. In early March, I got sick. I was out for like a week, and then I immediately had my birthday. So I spent a few days with my boyfriend, and then by the time I was back and ready at uni, I had so much work to catch up on. So I was just cramming so much uni work at the second half of March and then the beginning of April, because I am actually done with uni now. So I had my final major project, which I will make a video about. And just all my like last projects, everything was due. What was it? I think it was it the 10th of April? I think it was when everything was due for me. So I was just cramming so much work at the end of March, and I really just didn't have time to focus on social media, which is why I didn't post. But I am done now. That is my third and final year of uni done. And I've also traveled back home. I'm back home in Norway, and I'll be here for the next, I guess, month and a half. And now that I'm home and I'm done with uni work and stuff, I'm ready to get back on the schedule. So I do technically have my degree show and my graduation left, but it's not quite yet. So I will fly back to London for my degree show. What is that? End of May, beginning June, something like that. And then by the summer, I'll be graduated from university. So yeah, that's exciting. So that's why I haven't been posting. But I will get back on a schedule now. And also, since I'm now out of school, I am ready to go all in with art. I'm ready to do it full time and work on both freelance and on social media. So I can finally commit to this for the first time in my life. So I am excited for that. But yeah, I did want to talk about some of the things that I've been into lately. And since I'm finally off from school and I have time to play video games and read books and stuff, this list is actually quite big. So some games I've been playing. I've still been playing the hell out of Pocopia. I absolutely adore this game. I adore it so much. I've hit 100 hours. I've come quite far in terms of decorating Withered Wastelands, and I've been starting on Bleak Beach. So yeah, I'm 100 hours in, and I'm still so far from being done from decorating. So I do absolutely adore this game. It's everything I love in a video game. Of course I was going to play it, and of course I was going to love it. It's got like the perfect DNA or the perfect structure of a video game that I would love. I was playing Peak with my boyfriend for a while, though now that I'm back home and I have my PC, we've started playing Minecraft Dungeons because I've never played it, but the sequel is coming out at some point. I don't actually know when, I just know it was announced not too long ago. So we thought that'd be a good opportunity to actually play Minecraft Dungeons, and there was a sale on Minecraft Dungeons and all the DLC not too long ago, so we just bought it then. So I've been playing that. I'm still doing my Hello Kitty dailies. I'm still finishing up on things on that. Can't believe I've been playing this game for as long as I have. And then there's just a few games I've been playing kind of on and off, or I've started. I've been playing Fantasy Life, what is it called? I think it's Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time, or something like that. I was doing some of the co-op things with my sister because she has the game on her PlayStation and she's trying to get the plat for that. So she's trying to get all the achievements. So I helped her with some of the co-op things. So I think it's called Snoozeland things. I don't know, if anyone's played the game, then you know what I'm talking about. So I was just doing a bunch of those, but I do want to go back to Fantasy Life and actually keep playing it because I never did finish it, but I do want to. And I got Final Fantasy VII on sale. There was a massive Square Enix sale, so I did get it for the Switch because I started playing it on the PlayStation, but I'm not much of a console player, to be honest. I prefer PC or my Switch. So now that I have a Switch 2 and Final Fantasy 7 can now run on this console, happy to finally try it. So I just did the first chapter literally today as I'm recording this, but I'm recording this earlier in the week before this video comes out, so by the time this video comes out I probably would have come farther. Yeah, I believe those are all the games I've been playing, which is a big roster, to be honest. And books, I haven't been reading a lot. Like I said, I was so busy in March, and then any and all spare time that I did have went straight to Pocopia. So it was literally only uni work and then like Pocopia whenever I had time. That was it. But I did manage to finish Iron Gold, which is the 4th book in the Red Rising series. And I'm now on Dark Age, though I haven't really read much of that because I've just been playing video games lately. Like, I go through like one main hobby at a time, and it's on rotation, and right now I think I'm kind of into video games now that I finally have time to play. So yeah, hopefully I'll have time, or I'll be able to, I guess, delegate my time a little bit better so I can also be progressing in my books. But yeah, working on Dark Age, which is the 5th book in the Red Rising series, and I'm also working on The Beauty of Darkness, which is the 3rd and final book in the Remnant Chronicles trilogy. And this is a list that's never normally long for me, but it's actually quite long this time for once, which is the like movies and TVs sections. And of course I've already gone through the anime section of this category. I did see the Mario Galaxy movie. I saw that at the cinema with my sister when that came out, because like Mario Galaxy, that's literally the best Mario game ever. Like, who doesn't love Rosalina? And I'm actually in the process of making some fan art for this, so stay tuned. And I saw Bridgerton for the first time. I've always wanted to get into it because I absolutely adore the Regency vibes, but since I don't watch things ever by myself, I just never really got around to it. But when I was sick, I started watching the first season, and I have seen everything that's out of it, so it's quite good. I really enjoyed the last season that came out as well. Now that I'm home and with my family, I've been watching a lot more stuff as well. I've been watching Parks and Recreation with my sister and my parents, because we always have like one fun show on rotation. Like we're all big fans of Modern Family and The Office and things like that. I want to say there was something else, but I can't remember what else. But yeah, now we're watching Parks and Recreation, and I've never seen it before. So I've been watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer with my sister and my mom, which is a really old show, but I actually think I had a friend recommend this to me as well a few years back. So we've seen only a few episodes so far, but it's like, it feels really nostalgic despite having never seen it. I am recording this on the Wednesday before this video comes out, but literally the night before I'm now recording this, I just saw Project Hail Mary at the cinema, and that is by far the best movie that has come out in a very long time. So that was so good, easily a 10 out of 10. So if it's still going in any movie theaters, anyone has the chance to watch it, I would recommend that. That is the best movie that has come out in a very, very long time. And yeah, those are the things that I've been watching lately. So in terms of projects I'm currently working on, I've recorded my final major project, so I will make that into a video. I would like to talk about my experience at university, not just at university in general, but specifically as an art student. And I also think it might be interesting to talk about my experience studying in London as an international student. So if you guys are interested in that, if you have any questions about that, I guess drop them down below, and like I'll answer them in my next video, because I do want to talk about my uni experience. And I think I have a lot of valuable insight for anyone who's thinking of going into art school or, university or college or whatever for an art course, but you're kind of on the fence of whether it's actually worth it or not. That's something I do really want to discuss. And other than that, I'm also working on some Rosalina fan art, but it'll be a digital painting, so it'll be a little speed paint type video. And yeah, those are the two things that I'm working on at the moment. It feels really good to be done with school. For the first time in my life, I've got no more school left, which is a relief. I've never imagined I could feel about this. I've always been quite nervous about not having school anymore, but it feels really good. And I will be moving in with my boyfriend. I'm going back to the UK. I'll be moving in with my partner in August, September-ish, applying for a graduate visa, all that, and then I'll start, committing to this for real. Hopefully I can get some kind of part-time job or something in the area in the meantime until I can start making money off of this. But the plan has always been to do art. So I shall do art. I shall make it. So, like I said, it'll be freelance and social media. I'd like to work towards opening up an online shop again. So, yeah, my commissions are open now. They will stay open all throughout the summer and stuff. So, if anyone is interested, just contact me on any of my social media. And I also have a website up and running. That was one of my uni projects. So, once it's been assessed and I'm completely done with uni, I'll probably go in and I'll tweak it and I'll add some stuff that I didn't want to add for university. But at the meantime, here is my website. I'm pretty sure it's just called Caitlin Illustration or something like that. If you're interested in checking out my website as well, I've got a little portfolio online now, which is always cool. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you have any questions about my whole uni experience, and I'll try to answer it in that video, which should be my next one, but we'll see. I think we're nearing exams period now, so I hope that you guys are, good luck. So yeah, hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next week.